Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me as always is Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And today we're going to be talking, at least for the beginning of this, about the attack in London today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you said you had some articles open. You want to start out?
Sure. I'll go down the bullet points of what is known at present. Let me get the freshest version here. Okay. All right. So, what we know, and this is coming from the New York Times as of what 7:10 p.m. Pacific. I don't know if they've updated this since then, but I just refreshed. This is as current as they have it. At least 5 people were killed, including the attacker and a police officer, and 40 were wounded in an attack in London on Wednesday, the head of London's Metropolitan Police Counterterrorism Unit said. The driver of a large vehicle, is it another truck of peace?
It looks like just a regular car, but
Okay. Well, the driver of a large vehicle mowed down pedestrians on Westminster Bridge, which leads to Parliament around 2:40 p.m. local time. After the crash, he left the vehicle and approached Parliament, where he fatally stabbed a police officer. The police then fatally shot him. Parliament was locked down and a search was conducted for any other assailants in the area. The police said they believed there was only one attacker. 3 people who were run over on the bridge died, and the Port of London authorities said another woman was pulled from the River Thames with severe injuries. The police officer who was killed, Keith Palmer, 48, had 15 years of service and was a member of the Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protections Division of the Metropolitan Police. Others injured on the bridge included 3 police officers and several French high school students. Let's see. The police said officers had been summoned to the bridge after reports of a quote unquote firearms incident, and witnesses reported gunfire near an office building for lawmakers and their staff members. Okay, and then we go on to what we don't know. The identity and motives of the attacker, although Scotland Yard officials said they believe they knew who he was. No group so far has claimed responsibility for the attack. The quote unquote working assumption of the police is that the attacker was inspired by quote unquote international terrorism, according to Mark Rowley, the acting deputy commissioner and national lead for counterterrorism with the Metropolitan Police. The severity of the injuries among many of the 40 who were wounded in the attack are still unknown. And then it's a whole bunch of photographs of the scene and some of the carnage and all that fun stuff.
yeah, if you want to
For
see it real quick, if you want to see it, there's actually footage of the woman going off the bridge.
right,
You can find that on the BBC. I don't know
yeah,
if it's anywhere else. That's where I saw it.
or it'll
It's
probably be a live leak or something else too if you want to find it
Yeah,
there.
it's not the greatest footage. It's from quite a ways back. You see the car coming, it
Yeah.
passes her, and then she tumbles off.
For a brief,
Man,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just this fucking day, man.
Yeah, for a brief time, it was believed that the attacker was one Abu Izzadeen, aka Trevor Brooks, but he has been in jail since January of 2016, so it was not him. So that was a mistake that was being floated for quite a while because as soon as they said the guy's name, I looked him up and he has a Wikipedia page because he is a well-known spokesman for a Muslim organization that was banned under the Terrorism Act, excuse me, of 2006. But the last little blurb on his little profile says in January 2016 he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for breaching the Terrorism Act by leaving the UK illegally. And so I thought, well, if he's in prison for 2 years as of last year, he couldn't have been doing this unless he was out of prison, and he wasn't. So yeah, so that
Yeah,
was
his lawyer came out and made a statement, and the reason that started floating around is there is a picture of the attacker that you can
yeah,
see his chin, and he
right.
has a little, let's just be honest, a little Muslim goatee,
Hmm.
and the skin color and the beard that he wears does look just like the other guy, but you can't see his whole face. So
Right.
people kind of jumped the gun on that.
The other thing that's interesting that probably isn't a coincidence is that this comes on the 1 year anniversary of the ISIS bomb attacks in Brussels.
Yes.
So again, this is more likely than not. Now we don't know for sure, but all signs point to another act of Islamic terrorism and inspired thereby those activities. We're waiting for
Yeah,
confirmation on
didn't
that kind of stuff.
Scotland Yard called it an act of terrorism, but they didn't necessarily say it was a Muslim terrorism.
Well, depending on who you're, if on CNN, they're reporting it as quote um, in what police believe was an act of Islamist-inspired terrorism. That's how
Hmm.
they're categorizing it on CNN.
Inspired. Isn't that a fucked up word?
Yeah, I was
It
inspired.
fits. I understand that, but
Yeah,
that's not really what you think of for inspiration.
yeah, but this is just another example of what I've started calling budget terrorism: a car and a
Yeah,
knife. It doesn't take much. I mean, an act of terror is just meant to inspire fear, and you don't really have to go all that expensive or convoluted to do it. I mean, technically, 9/11 wasn't a very expensive act of terrorism. Box cutters and planning was about it.
yeah, yeah. And cars seem to be becoming the method of choice. We've seen it more times than I care to think about.
Yeah, we had Nice and
Hmm.
the one in Germany during Christmas time just recently, and I believe there was a third one that I'm forgetting right now.
Yeah, the truck of peace.
Yeah, it's just yeah, taking over a truck, finding a populated area, and just plowing through.
Yeah. Um. Now, I'm going to go way out on a limb here and say the guy was probably Muslim. We don't know that for sure. Hashtag not all and all that nonsense. Um, but the reason I really wanted to talk about this tonight is not just that it's such a fucked up thing going on in our world again, but the reactions have become almost as cliche as the attacks themselves these days.
How so?
Well, like Sean King first saying, "Oh, we can't blame all Muslims."
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay, look, nobody's blaming all Muslims, but I am fucking blaming Islam. Just because
right.
some Muslims are being behave and not killing people doesn't mean that this isn't being done in the name of a very violent fucking religion. And I'm so tired of every time this happens, the first thing we hear is, "Oh, we can't blame Muslims." Well, yeah, we can. If they were Muslim, we can blame those Muslims and we can blame what led them to do it. Their
Mm-hmm.
crazy fucking religion.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to it, it blows my fucking mind the way that I'll just say it because I know people get pissed off because I'm going to use this word, but liberals will attack Christians over the smallest fucking thing, and
Right.
they blanket label all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But Muslims killing people, oh hey, back up now. We can't not hashtag not all.
Yeah, I mean the opposition during the height of the sort of movement towards equal rights for homosexuals in America in the late. I mean, the real push started in the late '90s, early 2000s, up until just a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Um, Christianity, for demonizing, literally or figuratively, homosexuality, was disparaged left, right, and center by people, and honestly, rightly so, because a religion that promotes the vilification of people based on things that is just part of who they are or part of their makeup or whatever else is not a very positive factor in life. But then you turn around and say, oh, well, how about throwing those same people off of rooftops? Wouldn't you say that religion is also a bad thing? Oh, no, we have
Oh no,
to look out for them because they're marginalized and et cetera, et cetera. Like, okay.
we've come to the point now that we have intersectional Islam.
Mm-hmm.
The intersectional community has latched onto Islam, and yeah, they give them a pass for the most horrific shit. We had headline after headline after headline over the fucking bakery not baking a gay wedding cake.
Right.
There was no hashtag not all Christians. Some Christians will bake you a cake. They're not all bigots, but
Yeah.
fucking oh god, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
what
But
a fucking world.
yeah, if your religion leads you as an individual to take an act that is discriminatory or hateful or whatever else, then your business gets shut down and
Hmm.
you are vilified and you are sued and you are put, through all the ringers. Now, I'm not saying I agree with somebody who does that, but then if someone else turns around and based on their religion murders people,
Hmm.
then it is not a wrong thing to be unhappy with that individual based on their belief system or their belief system that would tend to promote them to think that it is a good thing to do. And if you guys pay attention to the actual dictates of Islam, it is a good thing to purge the world of the infidel, and those that do not agree with Allah are to be taken out. That's
Well,
pretty
they
much the long and
always
the short of it.
we always have to hear about the peaceful religion of Islam. Islam does preach a little bit of peace, but
Yes.
only for followers of Islam.
Right.
The the rest of the shit that it tells you you can do is pretty fucking horrific, and it's aimed at everyone else.
Yeah. There's I remember in one of the Islamic Pulse videos I did, where they were trying to promote unity. There's a big push on Islamic Pulse for a while there, where they were trying to promote Islamic unity. Like, can't we all just agree that we are all Muslims and not have all of this strife? And on the outset, you'd think, okay, well, that's good. I would like for there to be less religious strife between the factions of Islam. That would probably help things out quite a bit. Until you listen to what they're saying and saying, we need to put aside all of our differences as Muslims so we can focus on the real enemy, which is all the non-Muslims.
Everyone else, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone else. Yeah, and one of the things in there they quoted in trying to show how the Quran wants Muslims to not be divided. They quoted, and I'm paraphrasing here. Um, it's in speaking to people of other religions. Let us come to a belief that we can all agree upon under Allah. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
wait a second. That doesn't sound quite like tolerance. That sounds like authoritarian dictate.
Yeah, yeah. But what about the rest of us? Those of us who don't even fucking believe.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just so. Then the other thing I saw, and it's getting pretty typical too, is
Mm-hmm.
somebody asked just for because it was named that it was Muslim, and somebody asked, "Is that confirmed?"
Mm-hmm.
And people jumped on. Oh, of course it's going to be a Muslim. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I'm I'm going to say it probably is,
Mm-hmm.
but it is. There's nothing wrong with wanting clarification before you jump on that bandwagon.
Right. And I mean, given the date, given the anniversary, given the pattern of events we have seen in the very recent past, it's not like there's been 20 years between events and there's a whole lot of mystery as to what it might be. But it is true, unless or until we actually know, it is all still speculation. It could turn out to be just some nut who
Yeah,
had no affiliation with any mosque, who radicalized himself in his apartment by all by himself and had nothing to do with anything, was inspired by Islam but otherwise was not associated with anybody, and he could have had mental problems that were known before all this happened. And it could be about as loosely attached to actual organized Islamic terrorism as you can imagine. And we could still be kind of right, but that
well,
wouldn't necessarily be all right. But either way, it's like, yeah,
we already had the Olympic moment with this guy who's sitting in jail who got blamed for it.
right. Yeah, Richard Jewell.
there's
Yeah.
there's false information out there. Wait and
Yes.
see what we. I mean, yeah,
Well, we saw it today. The guy who's been in jail for a year and a half was
yeah,
blamed for it right off the bat because somebody thought they recognized him from a photo from a distance, etc. So
from his
it is
chin,
entirely
from his
right from his
fucking chin.
chin, from his profile. So yeah, I mean, even now, even after all of the mistakes that have been made and everything else, it's still just speculation until the police say otherwise. Why
Yeah,
it's taking so long to release the identity, I don't quite understand, because unless there is, I mean, perhaps there's a belief that there's some other ongoing thing, or there's some other connected events or people to this, and they don't want to show their hand or something. But
well,
yeah, anyway.
one of the initial reports said that there were two people in the car on the bridge.
Hmm.
So it may be that they are still looking for a second person, and like you said, don't want to show their hand. Otherwise,
Right.
yeah, I don't see why they're not naming him.
Yeah. I mean, not
But
not knowing what their what the
yeah,
motivations are specifically or anything else, or being too explicit about that until they have more information, sure. But yeah, it usually at this point, if they have an identification, and it sounds like they do, they just haven't released it yet. I'll be curious to find out why. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
no,
I
I think we're okay.
Okay. I hear
She's
babies.
just rolling over.
Okay.
Um, anyhow, um, yeah, I am on baby duty tonight, guys. So this is subject to end at any time. Um,
Or he'll just leave you alone with me for a while he tends to the baby.
actually, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to go make sure
Okay.
she has her bottle. So be right
All right.
back.
Well, everybody, it's now the Scribe Light Show. I will pay attention to the chat now in order to fill the time until Monkey comes back. If there's any questions either about this topic or anything else for the sake of filler, because I'm just that nice guy. So, yeah. And as a free plug, I've just posted a new video along with a video I posted this morning that Ted took it upon themselves to monetize on my behalf to make money off of my work, which is fine because I'd rather have them do that than give me a copyright strike. So say hi to Ted when you have a chance for me. No, that's not me sending you off to do things for me. Let me take that back. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Watching the chat, watching the chat. Scribe, how can you be a part of this hate? I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a fan of most religions that would target people for harm on the basis of it's good for God. Doesn't matter what the religion is. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Ted. Hey, if I use too much of their material in a spate of time on the video and that qualifies for them somehow grabbing the half a cent or whatever that video is going to generate, by all means. I asked them on Twitter specifically, hey, since you're monetizing my work and I'm not challenging it, by all means, can I call myself a proud partner of Ted now? Let's see what else we got. Assuming I was Scribe still sexier than Ranting Monkey. Oh, thanks, PC. Scribe originally IRA was suspect. Yeah, I had thought about that too. It just seemed a little too like sloppy for IRA. When I think IRA, I at least think something that's a bit more coordinated. This seemed really messy, and all things considered, with the timing of it and the anniversary and all. Scribe, what's your signature cooking dish? Microwave burritos. How do you not want to monetize your videos? Oh, right now, given the size of my subscriber base and that I'm just having fun doing it as a hobby, and I have a full-time job, I'm not too concerned right now with making extra money. If my subscriber count and my views went up significantly, or if I don't know, if something occurred and I decided I wanted to monetize, I would start monetizing then. But unless or until I feel like I need to, I'll just keep doing it for free, so to speak. Scribe, what's your avatar? My avatar is the painting called Wanderer Above the Sea Fog by Caspar David Friedrich. It was painted in 1818, and depending on which source you read, it was either inspired by or was created in conjunction with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, depending on who you talk to.
Okay, dude.
Oh, sorry.
I am going to have to cut this short. She's awake.
Oh, okay. Well,
So, sorry, guys. We'll hopefully be able to pick up this topic tomorrow and go a little more in depth, and maybe we'll have a little more information on it too. So, thanks for coming. Sorry it's short. Scribe, thanks for coming.
no problem.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.